Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 169 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills helps you improve your table tennis. 169 is a square number since 13 times 13 equals 169. And if each number is reversed, the equation is still true. 31 times 31 equals 961. And also, for our English fans out there, England beat Australia by 169 runs in the first Ashes test this year. Oh, no. For Throwback Thursday, we're going to take a look at our match strategy section. In the questions, we'll talk about whether you should change your grip or your bat, training schedules, bending your wrist, and throwing the ball vertically when serving. I'm Jeff Plum, and as always, Super Coach Alois Rosario is here with me to answer your questions. Welcome, Alois.
Thank you, Jeffrey, and welcome, PingSkillers. Another day in Melbourne that's a little bit cold, but we'll get through it. Come on.
We will. We've said it before, haven't we? But we're really looking forward to winter being over.
Yes, indeed. Get rid of it.
And not long to go now. Now, Alois, do you have any exciting information about this day in history?
Of course I do, Jeffrey. Of course I do. In 1977, the Voyager 2 spacecraft is launched to become the first probe to visit Uranus.
Wow. I like space ones. There you go. Yeah. Voyager 2.
Yeah, Voyager 2. There you go. Yeah, not that exciting. I mean, I almost think it's, I'd almost say your fact about the cricket test 169 was almost as good.
There you go. Go numbers. And I noticed in the space program, people tended to get a bit more blasé about it as more and more trips to the moon and trips in outer space happened. It was kind of lost its magic, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose it's like everything, though, isn't it? Like, you do it a few more times and it becomes a bit more mundane or regular, a bit like playing your forehand topspin, Jeff. Like if you make the first one the first time ever, it's fantastic, but after a while, when you're practicing it and doing it all the time, it's easy. No one even looks.
There you go. All right. Now, yesterday's PingSkillers question of the day was, what is the strangest thing you have seen on a table tennis court? Alois, what did people have to say? What have they seen?
Well, we know that Mick Waugh and Scott Houston have a little bit of a, tete-a-tete going, and Mick Waugh has just put up Scott Houston. So for others, though, have said, Ilya said, during my recent tournament, I played a kid in semi-finals that beat me twice before. When I finished the fourth game with a crisp forehand winning the match 3-1, he started to cry really loud. Poor little kid. Ilya, stop beating up on poor little kids.
Oh, that's terrible, making kids cry. Ilya, how could you?
And Rizza said, it's very strange that when I tried to return a serve, the ball sang it in the net. The other time I tried to return the similar-looking serve, the ball flew away. So for him, that was very strange.
That is, I mean, people that have never played against a spin before, that really confuses them. When one goes one way, one goes another way, blows their minds.
Yeah, and it is. That's right. And Dominic Graham said, I hit a hard smash straight into a guy's Adam's apple. Oh, he dropped the bat, held his throat with both hands and stumbled away towards the back wall. It was an accident, and I'm certainly not proud of it, but it did create some discussions on the day. Sorry, Chris. So there you go. So a few interesting things that happened on a court.
Yes, indeed, Alois. And I think I've told this before, but the strangest thing that I've seen was probably myself. I was training in China, and I was back lobbing, and I was lobbing and just getting to the ball and lobbing and just getting to the ball and lobbing, and then my training partner did a drop shot, and I came running in, and I just smashed straight into the table. And the table pushed back and nearly hit the guy at the other end. And the whole stadium started laughing and people were doing bull signs at me. And that was pretty strange.
Yes, you were referred to as the bull for quite a while after that, Jeffrey.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now, Alois, just a quick note on, I know it's quite funny and quite strange, the kids crying. Is this a good thing for kids to build up resilience, or are their expectations too high, or do you have any thoughts on this? I know it's a delicate topic.
Yeah, I'm not completely, think, oh, that's terrible. One, at least it shows me that they are really passionate about the game. But yeah, and especially at a young age, it's difficult to manage those emotions well. And you'll see that kids, though, change their emotional level really quickly. So you would have seen that kid crying, but 2 seconds later he's off, talking to his mates and just having a good time again. Adults, it takes a little bit longer, like if we have an emotional low or an emotional high, it takes a bit longer for us to go up or down. But kids are just like, oh, I'm bawling my eyes out. Next minute they're okay. Next minute they're bawling their eyes out. So yeah, I don't think it's terrible, but it's something that they need to start to learn to manage. That's all.
Yeah, very interesting. I see that with kids these days, exactly like you're saying. 1 minute they're crying, next minute they're absolutely fine, laughing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I must admit I cried quite a few times when I was a kid after table tennis matches. So I think it's fairly common and fairly normal in some regards.
Yeah, I think as long as they don't, go over the top and start, getting, abusive or hitting things and all that sort of stuff, I think it's, then I think you need to just stop them straight away. But, if they come off and they're crying, I think that's all right. Just give them a bit of time. They'll be okay.
All right. Excellent discussion. Now, the PingSkills question of the day is, how often do you change your equipment? So jump online to facebook.com/PingSkills, leave a comment, or on the website pingskills.com, click on the blog link and leave a comment there. So we want to know, how often do you change your equipment? All right, now, Alice, because it's Thursday, it's Throwback Thursday, and we're talking about a match strategy video, which was a match between Carter and Keck.
Yeah, so this was part of a whole series of matches that we did a while ago as part of the PingSkills Classic, and I think just in general, it is good to watch some of the better players play and just see what they do. During these videos, we commentate on the match, and hopefully it gives you an idea to see what's going on. So from our eyes, seeing what we think tactically is happening, what we think technically players can change. So the first one is Craig Carter playing Christopher Keck, and a really interesting match. Craig Carter's got a good backhand, and just seeing how Christopher Keck can find ways around all of that. So well worth a watch, and we'll put a link on the site. And I think it's good to watch any players play, or any better players play, and just have a look at what they're doing. And even if there isn't commentary, while you're watching it, just see if you can start to think a little bit about, okay, what's happening? Why did he win that point? Why did he play that ball to the forehand side? Why did he play it to the backhand? Was it a good idea? And then once you start to make those analyses during a game, hopefully you'll be able to translate it back into your own game and see if you can start to analyze what's happening in your own matches as well.
Yeah, great idea, Alois. And I guess, as you said there, when you're trying to watch a match, it's all about the questions you ask yourself, isn't it? I guess it's the same with learning anything. If you ask good questions, you're going to start to learn more. So, like you said, some of those good questions are, why did he hit it that way? Why did he do it at that speed? Things like that. Yeah, excellent. And as Alois said, we'll put... Oh, yep, go, Alois.
I suppose that also relates to our vault section as well. So for yourselves, in there you can go through the vault and add in tactics that you've used against players and little bits about each player that you play, and that's all part of the match analysis as well.
Yeah, good point. So if you haven't tried out the PingSkills Vault, do so. It's a great tool, just easy to use. Go to pingskills.com, click on the Vault link, and you can, enter people you've played against and start entering tactics that you use against them. Give it a try. And yeah, as Alois said, there's a whole series of these match strategies. This first one's available for everybody, so take a look. We'll put a link in the show notes. And then there's a whole other series that are really useful too that are available to our premium members. So if you want to improve your table tennis, check out the premium membership at pingskills.com. Lots of great stuff: serving, receiving, match strategy, sports psychology, everything you need, training secrets, and a really popular 52-week training program. So check out the PingSkills premium membership at pingskills.com. All right, now, Alois, I love this. People have jumped on and are asking us questions using the Google Q&A app, and anyone can do this by going to our Google Plus page. All right, now, Brian has asked, do you guys have any diets when preparing for tournaments? I've always had the right exercise plans, but I don't know what to eat.
Yeah, so nothing specific. Things that I used to find useful for me were making sure that during the day especially that I was well hydrated. So lots of water, and perhaps you could add just a little bit of juice in with it. You don't need a lot of juice, just 5% or 10% juice added to your water just for a bit of taste. But also, I used to find things like fruit buns were good. So a nice mix of carbs and some sugars and things that kept me going through the day. But eating them regularly, so not just having a big meal, just every half an hour or an hour or so, just grab a little bit to eat. I found was really useful. Before the tournament, again, make sure you're well hydrated the day before as well. Just things like some carbs, some pasta, that sort of stuff was good. But we're certainly not nutritional experts, so have a little bit of a search around. There's plenty of information around now about nutrition for sport. Have a little bit of a search around. We might do the same and see if we can find some links for you.
Yes, good idea. And I particularly like those tips, Alois, and especially the one about being hydrated the day before. And then I think it's also important on the day to, make sure you're drinking enough fluids as well. Again, I'm no dietitian, but I used to like, Gatorade or Powerade or something like that during the day too. Just found that my concentration levels were better towards the end of the day if, you'd eaten enough and had enough fluids. Good question, Brian. All right. Now, Ilya has asked, have you ever seen someone doing a high toss backhand or reverse pendulum serve?
Yeah, I have. The backhand especially I've seen players use. And I think, I like your question because I don't think that it's used enough. Why not? Why not use a high toss backhand serve? Why not use a high toss reverse or a high toss, even a high toss punch serve? Why not? So yeah, give it a go. I'll like the use of the high toss. It's just something different. It throws the rhythm of the game. And if it's something that you do regularly and well, then it's something that the other players don't see very often. So yeah, give it a go. I really like your line of questioning, especially the backhand. The backhand I've seen used, and it can be really effective.
All right, there you go. There's a tip, everybody. Get out, start practicing your high toss backhand serves. Good thinking, Ilya. All right, next up, Lakshya has asked, she says, we have not too much time to train, only 2 to 2.5 hours to play. In that time, we have to do physical exercise too. So how do we manage time? We don't have a good coach. So how do we improve ourselves?
Okay, lucky you. On the site, we've got some free downloads that will really be useful to you. So one is our training plan. So you can download the training plan from our free downloads, and we'll put a link on the show here. The training plan basically sets out a 2-hour block for you to train, and it breaks it up into the different areas that you should work on during your training. So like the warm-up, the on-table warm-up, the drills that you do, the game section. And then the second great download for you is the training drills download. So by going through the training drills download, you can then pick out some drills that you can do to slot into your training plan. So yeah, some pretty helpful little downloads there for you that you can utilize and set up your training for yourself. It's a great idea to just think a little bit about your training before you get out there and on the table. Otherwise, when you get out on the table, you just say, oh, what do we do today? And you just wing it, and you end up wasting a lot of time. So set the plan up before you start. Also make sure you've got a watch or a clock there that you're timing yourselves for each of the drills. So set out that this drill I'm going to do for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever it is. And then that way it'll keep your training session nice and tight, and you'll get a lot of benefit out of it.
Yeah, excellent advice again, Alois. So yeah, I'll put a link in the show notes to those free downloads. And I know I mentioned the premium membership before, but the Training Secrets course is all about this question. We talk about how to break down your training session into the different parts, and then all the drills that are on the free training drills download. We show you in a video how to do that drill, and not only how to do it, but why it's good for you and what it's going to help you improve. So yeah, it really is a good part of the premium membership. But
and the other part then, Jeff. Yeah, the other part of the premium membership that will help is the 52-week training plan. So in that, we set out 52 weeks of training for you. So so then you don't even have to do the thinking.
Yes, good point. And that is a really popular part of the site. People love that training plan. So good work, Lakshya. Great to see you got time to train. That period of time is going to be a good period of time. Just need to start, working on improving yourself. So get that plan, start working out some sessions, and you will certainly start improving. Good work. All right. Now, Manny Canton, sorry, Manny Canton. I'll try and get that right. Manny Canton has asked, I'm a penhold RBP player, so uses the reverse backhand on the penhold, and he finds a heavier bat setup very hard to play with. Is there anything you would recommend to increase wrist strength?
Yes. I mean, you can do things with weights, with wrist curls, etc., etc. But why not just get a lighter bat? Yeah, there are plenty of lighter penhold bats around, so you could do that. I mean, definitely, keep working on increasing your wrist strength or as well. Things like curls. If you get a piece of wood, a rope, and hang a little weight from the rope, and just curl it up and curl it down. Those sort of things can help you with your wrist strength. But yeah, why not get a lighter bat as well?
All right. Thanks, Manny Canton, for the question. Now, you talking about that little tool there, Alois, reminded me yesterday you were talking about the Karate Kid and the drums that we're using. And Thad on Facebook found a link to Karate Kid and showing the drums. And that's how we should be playing our forehands.
Nice. Good work, Thad. Excellent. Thank you. I've been looking forever. Not very well, obviously. But yeah, thanks, Thad. Yes. Yeah, so it shows him doing he's got the little stick with the drum and the balls and going, da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, have a look at it. We've got a link on yesterday's show, and we might put another link on today's show as well.
Indeed. All right. Now, Brian has asked another question, Alois. He says, is there proper etiquette when playing? I don't know how to act while playing tennis or golf. Oh, sorry. I know how to act while playing tennis or golf, but not table tennis.
Yeah, like it's I don't know. It's when you're in it, I think you sometimes maybe forget things. I mean, just be reasonable, you know, just be nice. Just be nice to your opponent is the main etiquette.
It is, isn't it? I think it's really kind of it seems to be quite a fair sport. People seem to be generally pretty honest, you know, with edges or nets, lets. The only people find strange outside the sport is people apologizing when you get a net and an edge and win the point. So, you know, that's something people do. You just put your hand up when you get a net or an edge. So, but it does seem to be fairly, you know, honest and sportsmanlike.
Yeah, I do like you mentioning that one about putting your hand up, and that's probably one little etiquette that there is that just slips my mind. So yeah, if you get the ball touches the net and goes over, or even during the rally, you know, your shot hits the net and goes over, or it hits the edge of the table. Usually players just put their hand up to just acknowledge their bit of luck. So that's one. And then at the end of the game, just shaking hands as well. Even though some of our top players don't do that very well. But yeah, I mean, just going up and shaking hands properly with your opponent at the end of the game.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, interesting. I think it's becoming more aggressive in some ways. Like people are yelling more when they win points lately. Although I guess that's been happening for years, hasn't it? I remember your favorite match, 1987, Zhang Jialang was going like this and walking around the other side of the table in the final of the Worlds. That was pretty aggressive.
That's right. He did a whole lap of the table right up to Waldner's end and shaking his fist like that. So yeah, that's been going on for a while. But yeah, I mean, being loud though, players aren't necessarily aggressive towards the other person. It's more like they're really being loud about winning the point themselves. So yeah. All
right. And if anyone else has any thoughts on table tennis etiquette, leave a comment on the blog. All right. Il has asked, how many degrees in the legal rule for throwing the ball in the air when the player serves? So Il's really asking, how straight do you have to throw the ball?
Yeah, so the rule is that the rule says that you need to throw the ball up almost vertically. So almost vertically means they almost allow 45 degrees either side, you know, which is pretty high. We'll put a link in the show to both the rule, but also there's the handbook for umpires and referees. And in that, it explains it pretty well of what the umpire's looking for as far as throwing the ball up vertically. So in that handbook rule, you'll see that they talk about the angle of 45 degrees being, you know, the boundary. So you don't have to throw it up this way, even if you're throwing it up that way. It's okay. You also need to take into account how high the ball's going. So, you know, sometimes because the ball moves that far, it might still have gone up pretty straight, but it's gone up a long way and then landed here. So it's well within that 45 degrees. So, I mean, the other thing is that I don't like about this rule is that I don't think it's policed well enough, because I'm seeing a lot of serves that are going up, you know, nowhere near 45 degrees and getting away with it too.
Yeah, one of those interesting things, isn't it? If you're going to have a rule, stick to it. Otherwise, don't have the rule. All right. Yep. So everyone take a look in the show notes. Really quite interesting because everyone just hears almost vertical, but these notes explain it a bit better. So check them out on the PingSkills blog. Now, Sebastian says, when I play my forehand, my wrist is bent down. Plus, I'm left-handed. So I'm adding a lot of side spin to the ball and I'm having problems playing down the line. But will it take months to learn it the right way? Do you have any tips?
Yeah, it won't take months. So for some reason, lefties tend to, more than right-handers, bend their wrist and curve their forehands. So what he's talking about is bending the wrist down like that, which when you come to hit the ball, you naturally put some side spin on the ball. So the first thing is to just relax this wrist. So you'll see here that there's tension here, and I'm actually bending my wrist. That's not a natural position. We don't walk around with our hands like that. So the first thing is to just relax your hand and walk around with a natural position, and then just put a bat in the hand in that same natural position. If you focus a lot on this wrist here and not having tightness or tension there and keeping that relaxed, then you'll go a long way towards hitting the ball straight. So the other thing is then really focusing on when the bat is contacting the ball, that it's contacting in a nice straight line and not going around the side of the ball. So you're hitting right on the back of the ball. And I think that probably the easiest way to do this is initially do some practice down the line to start with. So practice doing your forehands down the line. If you do that, then it almost forces you to straighten that wrist up and open it out effectively. So yeah, give that a go and see if you can make some changes. But keep some attention on there. Keep some attention on your wrist, not tension, attention. Keep some attention on there and keep it nice and relaxed, and then see if you can change that habit. It's well worth changing.
Yeah, certainly is. Now, Alice, that's great technical tips and practical advice there for Sebastian. But one thing that also can help people is your video on learning, on correcting errors, we call it. But instead of focusing on correcting the error, think about learning a new technique. And it sounds simple, but instead of like trying to correct that, just think about learning a new forehand where your wrist is straight. And for some reason, the mind seems to like that. A lot of people have found that helpful in correcting errors or learning new skills.
Yeah, that's a good tip too, Jeff. And yeah, check out that video and see if you can, just change the mindset a little bit. It makes a big difference, definitely.
All right, excellent. Next up, Christopher has said, I use a Donic Dotec blade with an ergonomic handle, which I really like. But when I change from forehand to backhand, I turn my bat slightly closed and it doesn't sit right in my hand. Should I change my technique or my bat, or just persevere?
Yeah. So the Dotec blade, basically, instead of having even shape on both sides, is shaped towards either a left-hander or a right-hander. So it curves one way in your hand that way, just to fit into your hand, or ergonomically fit into your hand a little bit better. The issue isn't the blade. The issue is just keeping that hand relaxed and making sure that you're keeping it nice and straight in your hand. So if you're turning your blade in your hand one way or the other, whether it's with a normal handle or an ergonomic Dotec handle, doesn't matter. It's not going to work for you. So just really focus on keeping that grip in your hand the same on both sides. And if you do that, then that'll eliminate the problems. You don't need to change your blade or go to any expensive lengths. Just focus on keeping this nice and relaxed, but in the same position for both sides.
Ah, very good. And I don't think those blades are that popular anymore with those, not that blade, but those handles are not that common anymore. But I remember back in the late 80s, Alois, and I'm going to get his name wrong, but it was Kjell Johansson. I had a blade with his little name on it from Stiga that had the handle like that.
Kjell Johansson, Jeffrey, Shell.
Shell. It starts with a K, though. I mean...
KJ, yeah, I know.
Kjell Johansson.
That's how I say it anyway, yeah.
Good one. If anyone remembers Kjell Johansson, leave a note on the blog. Love to hear from you. All right. Ramsey has jumped on and asked a question. Thanks for jumping on, Ramsey. He says, hey there, guys, it's me, Ramsey, from last year. If you remember, just checking you out, and you helped me a lot, and I have become a little better, and keep up the fantastic work. Peace from Algeria. Thank you, Ramsey. That's good to hear, Alois.
Yeah, excellent, Ramsey. Thank you for, it's always nice to hear nice things, and that we've been able to help. So yeah, really appreciate it, Ramsey. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, thanks very much, and keep up the good work. All right, Alois, that wraps up another big show, episode 169, done and dusted. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Thanks, Alois. It's been great to hear your words of wisdom, and I'm rambling again. But we are going to be on sporadically over the next little period. So I'm going to be away for a little while, but we'll try and do some shows in between. So you're going to have to keep an eye out to find out when the next show is. All right, Alois, any parting thoughts for our PingSkillers?
Keep training, keep working hard, guys. And if you've got questions, send them through to the Ask the Coach on the Ask the Coach page, and we'll keep up with you, and we'll help you out as much as we can. And thank you guys for all the really nice emails and thoughts that we get and messages on Facebook, etc. So we'll see you in a little while.
Thanks. See you, everyone.